Let's go. It is July the 29th, 2018. So I'm on my way into church this morning and pops up on my phone that rookie defensive tackle for the Bucs Vita has been carted off the field and headed to the locker room. It's a Bucs life. I don't know. I immediately, my first thought is, I hope this dude is okay. You know what I mean? Like, I hope he's all right. I hope this isn't like, a season-long injury or really even something that's going to last throughout training camp. Hopefully it's something that, they're just being, cautious and he's going to be okay. That's my first thought. But then my very next thought is, what are my expectations for the 2018 Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And this is a serious question because living here in Charlotte a few weeks ago, I heard the local guys on the radio here talking a bunch of smack. I mean, just beating down the Bucs, bashing Winston. And my gut instinct is to get butthurt about it and be like, oh, how dare you? And then I sit back and I'm like, all right, if I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from an outsider's perspective and I don't have my rose-colored glasses on, how do I see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers doing this season? And I'm going to be honest with you. Last year, I said this on my other channel, I drank the Kool-Aid. I was all in. Like, I legitimately thought that this team had a good shot. Now, I do like the fact that nobody has any faith in them this year. I think that's the best thing that could happen to this team because last year it was the opposite. We had everybody talking, Good Morning Football was just all about the Bucs last year, talking about how they expected us to be that surprise team. Well, guess what? If everybody's picking you as a surprise team, then, well, it's not really a surprise. And I remember almost the same exact scenario from the year prior with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars were picked to be that sleeper team, and it just didn't work out. But the following year, when nobody picked them, they ended up doing pretty well for themselves, get to the AFC Championship game, and really, I mean, they look pretty solid. Now, we'll see if they can do it again this year. I don't know. Their defense is pretty tough, so there's always a chance when your defense is good like that, but it's always tough coming back. But I look at the Bucs and I say, all right, well, we'll see. But again, when it comes to the Bucs and my feelings on the Bucs, it all starts with the offensive line and the defensive line. And do I feel like there's enough going on there? Do I think that they've made enough improvement that they can really take that next step, or a step at this point? I mean, really, next step. But they've got to get to the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's been too long. And, in my opinion, regardless of what has happened with Winston and him being out the first 3 games, I've said this before, this really wasn't all about Winston. The issues that this team had was far deeper. It was far more going on than just Jameis Winston. He didn't help the situation at times, but come on, I mean, let's be real. If you really are paying attention to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like, you knew there was a lot of issues going on this team besides Jameis Winston, and so that's kind of how I look at it. If he's out 3 games, whether he's there or he's not there, I mean, let's be real. Let's be honest with you. If Jameis Winston is your starting quarterback for the first 3 games, do you in your mind say, okay, we've got a shot at winning 2 out of 3 of those games? I don't know that you say that. So, in my mind, whether he's there or he's not there, it doesn't necessarily change my opinion on whether or not we could win 2 out of those first 3 games. And I think, if you think we're going to win 2 out of those first 3 games, I think your expectations are a little high, I guess is what I would say. I'd love to see them do that, and I don't think it's impossible. I think when it comes to the NFL, anything is possible. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. I really believe that, and I don't think it matters that Fitz is the quarterback. I really don't. I mean, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl last year. Come on. And he looked like the dude was an MVP. He looked solid. So, and I'm not saying Fitz is Foles, but I don't know. I mean, really, is Foles that great? The team was solid. Nevertheless, I'm getting sidetracked here. My point is that we'll see. I don't have high hopes on this team doing a lot this year. I really don't. If I was going to throw out a prediction on what I thought this team was going to do, I would say it could be anywhere from 3-13 to 6-10. I could see 6-10, or I could see 9-7, 10-6. I could see that. I mean, it's the NFL. It's just the way it is, And I don't think anybody really ever knows what's going to happen. I think it's just a matter of, can the team gel, and can the offensive line and the defensive line really step up this year and take charge. And I think they've got some guys that if they perform the way we hope they can perform, then there could be some significant increase in play and productivity, and this team could make that turn. But I'm not going into this season with extremely, high hopes, and I can't really get mad when another fan base or a local guy here in Charlotte is completely bashing the Bucs, saying that there's no way. I guess where I get a little bit upset is in the fact that they think that the Panthers are leaps and bounds ahead of them. That's where I get a little frustrated. When I look at the Panthers right now, I don't think they're that much better. They may be better, but I don't think that they're that much better. I don't think they're like leaps and bounds, like just completely off the charts better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When I look at the Saints, I think the Saints caught a lot of people off guard last year, which is surprising because anytime you got Drew Brees as your quarterback, it's hard to say you caught somebody off guard. But I still think that the Saints caught a lot of people off guard last year. The Falcons, I still think that the Falcons are probably the best team in this division. I hate to say that, but I think they're the best team in this division. Now, whether they show up and that happens, I'll say they're the best team in this division on paper is what I should say. Because, again, this is the NFL, and just who knows how everything's going to mash up and gel together. Every season is different. But that's just how I feel. So right now, I guess if I'm going to be, honest and real with myself, if I'm going to rank the NFC South, it's going to be tough, but I'm going to say Falcons, and then I'm going to kind of maybe lump the Saints and the Panthers together, and then the Bucs got to prove it to me, As simple as that. They got to prove it to me. So, that's kind of where I'm going to put them, is at the bottom, and they're going to have to earn it this year. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, I think we're the second, or maybe we're fighting for that third spot. I don't know. This year, they got to prove it to me. And I'm a huge Bucs fan. I love the Bucs. I'm a homer. And, so it's not easy for me to really say that because I always, going into every year, I want to say, yep, this is our year. But, I've been doing this now for, we're going into the 2018 season. The last time I really had any hopes that we were going to do anything, maybe the year after Raheem Morris, that year they went 10-6 and missed the playoffs. Maybe that following year I had pretty high hopes, but other than that, there ain't been too many years where I legitimately thought we was going to do. I say that out loud, but I think we're going to legitimately do something every year. I don't know why I just said it like that, but the last season, I guess during this season is what I should say, that I had any high hopes. Probably the 10-6 season, I thought we had a chance and we missed it. And then, Gruden's last year, until we fell apart at the end. That was a heartbreaking year. Oh, man, that was a heartbreaker. But I'll blame that on Monty Kiffin and the defense. Anyways, I love Monty Kiffin. Sorry, I shouldn't even have said that. But that's about all I got. I'll be back. Hopefully Vita is not and serious. It's not a serious injury. We'll see though. But I'll talk to y'all later. All right, I'm gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'm always gonna trust the process. I will talk to y'all later. I'm out.